So the mechanism of urine formation involved in 4 steps. Within these 4 steps, that urine is formed. The first one, glomerular filtration, which is also called ultrafiltration. Ultrafiltration. And second one is what? Second step, tubular reabsorption, tubular secretion, and last step is what? Formation of hypertonic urine. See what's happening in each step. First of all, glomerular filtration. Filtration means filtering something. Here, the blood is filtered at glomerular. See, if you observe that afferent arteriole, it is wider than efferent arteriole. That means when that more volume of blood enters the glomerulus, it causes pressure due to what? Narrowness. This is what? Somewhat narrow when you compare with the afferent arteriole. So when the blood is coming in more volume in afferent arteriole and it divides into glomerulus and it forms efferent arteriole. So this is efferent arteriole. Now here pressure exerts. That pressure causes to filter the blood and that filtrate is collected into Bowman's capsule. Hope you have understood. That means the pressure exerted due to narrowness of efferent arteriole, that pressure enables to filter the blood and collects that filtrate. That filtrate formed after the filtration at glomerulus is called primary urine. So the primary urine is formed due to what? Pressure created in a glomerulus due to what? Narrowness of outlet, what is that? Efferent arteriole. So this filtration is also called ultrafiltration. During this filtration, that all waste materials and also some nutrients filtered out of the blood capillary. The blood cells never comes out and proteins also never comes out of the blood. Simply what are coming here? The waste. This primary urine consists what? Waste plus some of the nutrients. Some nutrients. So the waste and some nutrients filtered and they are collected into that is a PCT. Collected into PCT. That filtrate of glomerulus is called glomerular filtrate or simply primary urine. So what is the primary urine consist? The primary urine consists the waste plus nutrients. These nutrients include amino acids, glucose, vitamins like a vitamin C, and ions, salts, and also water. These are all present in the primary urine. These are nutrients. So now glomerular filtration completed, that results the formation of primary urine. Now the primary urine is flowing in the PCT. Now if you observe that the second step now, tubular reabsorption. At the PCT there are so many blood capillaries, that is what peritubular network around the PCT. Here the peritubular network around the PCT reabsorbs all these nutrients. So what are the nutrients? Amino acids, glucose, vitamin C, excess of water, that is nearly 75% of water gets reabsorbed at that PCT from that primary urine into the blood capillaries. See, this is a PCT and it is having what is that? Primary urine. Around the PCT, what is there? The peritubular network is there, this one. Now the tubular reabsorption process involves that the nutrients gets reabsorbed into the blood capillaries. That is what we call tubular reabsorption. What materials are going to be reabsorbed here? The amino acids, glucose, vitamin C, ions, salts, and water. Nearly 75% of water is collected, reabsorbed from the primary. Now remaining that waste material flows into the next part of the nephron, that is what? Henle's loop, and through the Henle's loop it goes to the DCT. Here from the Henle's loop, 10% of the water from that filtrate is reabsorbed into that interstitial spaces. This is called what? Interstitial spaces. Here 10% of water is reabsorbed by the process called osmosis. Now the remaining filtrate goes up through that ascending loop of Henle and it goes to the DCT. Now here the third step, tubular secretion. Secretion means releasing. Here at the DCT, the peritubular network it is looping around that DCT also. So here the blood capillaries, from the blood capillaries, the waste materials, what are they? The waste, only waste here. See, for example, here this is the DCT and these are what? The peritubular network around the DCT. Here, in a third step, the tubular secretion process takes place. Here what happening means, from the blood capillaries, the waste materials simply secreted, only waste, not a useful product, only waste from the blood capillary to DCT. The waste like urea, uric acid, salts of sodium, potassium, hydrogen ions, and also anything water not here, sodium, potassium ions, and excess of other salts. These all are getting, along with this, creatine and creatinine also. These are nitrogenous bases and ions getting secreted from the blood capillaries into the DCT. See here at the PCT, the peritubular network absorbing the nutrients. Then at the DCT, from the peritubular network, the waste only the waste is secreted into the DCT, not a useful product. So that is what we call tubular secretion. The first one is tubular reabsorption, and that at the DCT region, from the blood capillaries, only the waste like urea, uric acid, salts, and excess of excess of salts, and including creatinine. These are waste materials from the blood capillaries, they are secreted into the DCT. Now, from the DCT, the urine, it comes or collected into the collecting tube. So this is what collecting tube. Here in the collecting tube, again the water is reabsorbed into the intercellular spaces, that water, by the help of a hormone called vasopressin. What is the hormone here? Vasopressin. So the formation of hypertonic, that means concentrated urine, must be eliminated out of the body. Otherwise, it leads to the formation of dilute and we lost the water. To prevent that, the water, 75% of water reabsorbed PCT, 10% of water is reabsorbed Lupa-Findlay, and remaining the water is reabsorbed by that interstitial spaces at that collecting tube. Due to presence of hormone called vasopressin, it is released from pituitary gland, which is a master gland in our body. So pituitary gland is the gland secretes the vasopressin. This vasopressin at the collecting tube, it helps to reabsorb the water. By that we can eliminate only the concentrated urine. From here it opens into the pelvis, pelvis to ureter, ureters to bladder, bladders to out through the urethra. Now the vasopressin, if vasopressin is not secreted enough amount, that leads to formation of dilute urine, that we call diabetes insipidus. Diabetes insipidus is the disease, sugar disease. It is a type of diabetes. It is due to lack of vasopressin. So when the vasopressin is not secreted in sufficient amount, it leads to formation of dilute urine, that causes what? Diabetes insipidus. We know another type of diabetes, that is what? Diabetes mellitus. This is due to lack of insulin. Insulin is a hormone which is secreted from the pancreas. Okay, here remember one thing. So the blood never flows out of the capillaries, only the waste and nutrients are flowing. We know that already. So the blood pathway is what? From that aorta, renal artery, afferent arteriole, glomerulus, efferent arteriole, and peritubular capillaries, and they form finally renal venule. Renal venules, various renal venules join to form renal vein. This renal venule comes out of the kidney and join with the inferior vena cava. So only the waste and some nutrients filtered, that means comes out of the capillaries, not blood cells and proteins. Only the waste and some nutrients comes out of the capillaries and they are reabsorbed. What are reabsorbed? Only nutrients are reabsorbed at PCT, and remaining waste comes out into the Lupa-Findlay at the DCT. From the peritubular capillaries, only the waste is secreted into the DCT, and through the DCT joined with the collecting duct, and from the collecting duct it goes into the pelvis and finally urine. So that is the pathway of urine, and this is the pathway of blood. Okay.